Welcome back. Today I'm excited to announce a new series that I'm going to be doing, and it'll be on this Remington 700 SPS in 300 Winmag. As you can see, it's pretty much the factory SPS you're getting, except for I had it threaded to 14x1 and re-crowned, which in my opinion, anyone who has a hunting rifle, if you're allowed to use a suppressor, you should probably use a suppressor. It makes your life and everybody else's life a lot easier. Or if you go into the range and you can run a suppressor, I'd run a suppressor instead of a brake just to save the people beside me their sanity. But you can see in front of me here the different calibers. We have 223, 308, and then we have some Winmags. You can see the size difference. It's the same bullet diameter as the 308, but it's got a lot more charge behind it. The ballistics are more like a 6.5 Creedmoor if you're looking for the arc. That probably comes closest to it. They have a pretty long barrel life. Some people say 3,000 rounds, some people say more using factory ammo. I'm not 100% sure, but you're probably definitely going to get about 3,000 rounds out of them. If you're loading hot rounds, it depends how hot you're going, I suppose. But what this whole series is about is getting your gun, your first gun, or the gun you always wanted to build, and building it into something that is a lot more accurate than when it comes out of the box when you bring it home. Now, this one at the moment, we're going to bring it out shooting the next day, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mount a rail to it, a 20 MOA rail. And we're going to mount the Falcon Optics 4 to 14x44. I'm going with that one because I know it can take the recoil, and I know with the zero is fine for it. I've shot out with that scope with a 308 to 1000 with no troubles, and it holds its zero perfect. So I'm going to go with that one because it's what I have in house. I will probably change it later on to something better, but we'll go with that for now. So looking at the rifle, first thing you'll notice is the long bolt, because it's a Remy. It's going to have long and short actions, unlike some other manufacturers which have universal action for long and short calibers. But this is the Remy, so it's a long action. The barrel is the standard tapered SPS barrel. Still the Remington barrel. It's not going to be changed for a while yet. This has about 500 or 600 rounds through it. Now, it has been completely cleaned, no carbon and no copper left in the barrel whatsoever, and so we're going fresh. Now, the first thing I want to say about it is the stock. The whole kit is extremely lightweight. I'll put the weight up on screen. It's so light you can carry it all day on a strap, no problem. It's a brilliant first-time stalking rifle, or a stalking rifle that you don't need to be super accurate. You could. I think my first ever red deer was taken with this rifle, but the stock is not the greatest. You can see here I can lift the barrel. You can see the flex in the stock. It's just putting my pressure on my fingers against it, which means when you're going to be leaning on that bipod, if you're doing some target work, it's going to be shifting, and naturally has a non-floating barrel. So when you put the pressure on that bipod, you're going to be pulling the stock away from the barrel and changing your point of impact every time. It is usable, but it takes a lot more concentration. It's one thing you don't really have to worry about. And the first stock we're going to be putting on this along the way is a nice chassis by Boyd's. I'm not going to say which one. We'll see. That'll be a fairly fast changeover. Then after the Boyd's one, we'll be going into aluminium chassis now, or aluminum. But basically, we'll be getting a lovely chassis from MDT. I'm not going to say which one. And we're going to get a lovely chassis later on down the line from GRS rifle stocks in Norway. So I'm really excited to see that. And they're all going to be put on here, on this Remy action, just to show how the rifle is affected by adding different things, including triggers, different bipods, different chassis, different mounts, different rails, the whole lot. We'll go through each different piece. But for now, all we're going to do is we're going to stick our 20 MOA rail on this. This is a normal Wayne rail, steel, and these come with Trox screws in the box, and it comes with 4 screws, 2 long, 2 short. 2 short go in the front, 2 long go in the back. But the first thing we're going to do is just degrease the top of this. Ideally, I would have liked a rail with an integrated recoil lug. I don't have one of those, but this will do. So what I'm going to do to help it along, because the Winmag has a bit of a kick out of it, especially if you don't have a muzzle device like a nice brake or something like that. It does have a kick, and if you have a heavy scope, which this is a middle scope if you're going by weight, if you have a heavy scope, it can cause a lot of force on the 4 screws holding down the rail. So we're just going to wipe this off. I'm going to mount this up. So it'll sit on here. It's a 20 MOA rail, so it's higher in the back and lower in the front, meaning that your scope will look down towards the ground, meaning you're going to have to lift your rifle and point it more up in the air to get the same point of impact. So that's what we're going to do. But first, we're going to put a little touch of Loctite on top of the receiver head. Now, this is the this is blue Loctite, so it's not the stuff that stays there forever. The manufacturers reckon 25 inch-pounds on the screws for this. So that's what we're going to do, and they said to use the Loctite. Okay, so you'll see what I mean by the different length screws here. You have the long ones in the back and the short ones in the front, just because it's a higher rail in the back because it's a 20 MOA rail. So we're going to put a little touch of Loctite on each of the screws. Now, this particular rail I checked, and it is completely flat to receiver. There's no gaps of sunlight in between the rear and the front, which is really the way you want it, because if you have an uneven rail, when you tighten it down, the rail is no longer going to be flat. And if it's not flat, when you put scope rings on there, if they're good solid scope rings, they're going to follow the curvature of the rail, and it's not going to be holding your scope straight. You're not going to get a good bite with the rings. If you get scope slip, you mightn't be exactly 20 MOA out anymore. You could have a twisted rail. A lot of problems could come from that. But this particular one is absolutely perfect. When it's mounted, there's no gaps. So we're going to screw in the front two, and we're going to just do the back two. So we're just going to put them on a bit loose first. Not going to tighten them all the way down. What you want to do is, when there's a little bit of slack in the rail, just pull it forwards, just as you touch the first one down. And what's that mean? What that'll end up doing is it'll cause the rail to be in its loaded position, and it's not going to shift under the first couple of recoils. And with the little bit of Loctite we have underneath the rail, it'll hopefully transfer a lot more of the pressure of the recoil straight to the action through the rail rather than down through the 4 little screw pillars. So there we go. That's 4 in. Right. So the manufacturer says 25 inch-pounds, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with the guy who pretty much everybody has, the Wheeler Fat Wrench. You can see here it's set to 25 inch-pounds. And we're just going to snug them down. Not going to go all the way down at first. Just going to get a good little bit of a twist. 1. And we'll just go through them again. There we go. So that's the rail done. It's as simple as that. Hopefully, now that the rail is on there, it's loaded forwards. There's Loctite between the rail and the receiver and the 4 screws themselves. This will not shift at all, and it's in its ideal situation at the moment. So in the next video, we're going to be mounting the rings and the scope. But this video is just to tell you about this series is coming up on this rifle. If you have a completely stock Remington at home, and you want to see what it's like when you start putting a bit of more components into it, new stocks, new triggers. At the moment, this thing has a 3.8 pound, it's the X Mark Pro replacement trigger from the recall. The original X-Mark Pro is a little bit heavier on this one. It was closer to 4 pounds, but this one here is sitting at lovely 3.8, which is fine for hunting. But as we see down the line, it's not going to be great for target shooting past 100. But for hunting, absolutely brilliant. So in the next video, we'll be putting rings and a scope on this and going out to shoot its initial groups, just so we can get a group size. And then the first upgrade that this guy is going to get has been taken out of this stock, and we're going to put it into this Boyd's, one of the thumb hole laminate stocks. So this action is going to be put into this. We're also going to bed it, fire some groups. Then we're going to pillar bed it and do some more groups, just to see if it makes any noticeable increase at 100 to 200 meters. So if you might find this interesting, click subscribe below, and you'll get notifications whenever I put up a video. And if you have any questions about anything I do, just ask them below in the comments, and I'll get back to them as fast as I can. But for now, thanks, and I'll see you later.